Hello everybody, this is Joe from Cincinnati, and I got with me Dan, also Daye Kaniel, also Action Johnny,
It's
also
me.
D Money, right?
That's it.
Put that hood up, bro.
That's it right here. Thug life. I'm here to spruce up Joe's channel and just dust away some of the cobwebs and added a nice bouquet of flowers on a shelf in the corner.
As I'm actually doing him a favor by putting him on my stream here.
I'm sponsored content.
We'll call it that, right? He's sponsored content. Does that mean you're paying me?
No, it means you're paying me.
Fuck. God, I cannot afford you right now. You're hot. You're so hot right now.
He's hot property right here.
So
paying pretty top dollar for that kind of guy, eh?
Oh man, I mean, you got what? You got like 20 subscribers now, right? So
I know, not quite reached the giddy heights of your 100 subscribers.
hey, it's like 500 now. So
500?
yeah,
Really?
yeah, yeah.
Question.
I've been a busy boy.
Yeah. Hitting the fields.
I had like 200 subscribers from when I was doing Game of Thrones videos, but then since I did L5R videos, I've gained like 320 followers. Because in Game of Thrones, clan loyalty is weird. In L5R, it's like celebrated. So
Yeah.
like
Right.
in Game of Thrones, it was like, oh, he's just playing Night's Watch. Who gives a fuck? Like, we've seen it before. I don't need to subscribe to that shit. In L5R, it's like all the crab players were like, subscribe right there. It's like, ah, man, it feels good to be in a community that appreciates your loyalty.
It does, man. I really like that about this game. And I also like that the game's complex enough that you can sort of like fastidiously obsess over one clan and still not found everything in it.
Yeah.
Like,
the thing that sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, how long we've been in this end of the cycle meta for now, and there are still like new decks and everything.
I know. The thing that I like about this game is honestly, you can build the exact same deck as somebody and then play it completely differently, based on bid strategy and fate strategy, and all that stuff is just completely different based on what you want to do with your own deck. And then on top of that, like, the splashes can change it entirely. And speaking of which, that's why I'm making this video, is because everything on my channel up to this point has basically been crab, splash, unicorn. But in Season 3 of the Discord League, I went out in the top 32. In Season 2, I went out in the top 64. And it's just not working right now. So I built a new deck. And by the way, Frotop, Chris, Podorf, Sir Largeness, he kind of beat me to the punch on this deck type. But we've been coordinating with him anyway. So, his input has gone into my deck. My input has gone into his deck. As well, so they're very, very similar at this point anyway.
That's
So
really what happens, isn't it? You mind meld with like a group of people, everyone's sort of like testing one thing, and you get to a point where maybe there's like 2 or 3 cards different between each.
yeah, in fact, I think there's like 1 card different in our decks at this point. I ran Bonsai during this game, but I've since taken it out. And it's just gone closer to what he has, and I think we're like 1 card off at this point. So anyway,
I'm really happy to see Bonsai finally leaving decks. I think like I'm not going to put it back in my decks anymore. I just value the attachments to it.
Yeah.
But
yeah, in my opinion, you're either on Bonsai or you're on Fine Katana, and Fine Katana is when you have all these cards that keep characters in play forever. It just becomes a little more valuable the longer it's in play. And so I've been recently swapping Bonsai for Fine Katana, and it's been working out pretty well so far. So we're going to keep testing that. But anyway, this game in particular, it's against Travis, who from Travis Fights Dragon and Winter Podcast fame. He was in my pod for Season 4. So we played this game a couple weeks ago, maybe a week and a half ago. I can't remember exactly when. And I'm playing Scorpion Splash. And I'll post my deck list in the description, and I'm gonna post Dan's YouTube channel in the description as well, so you can check out his games. He's running Crane Splash, so we're trying to hit this meta in different ways to see what we can get away with.
we're trying to hit the meta right in its pole back, aren't we?
Whatever that word means, yeah.
We're gonna donkey punch this meta. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, we're gonna, yeah, what he said. That's fine. Sure. Yeah.
I recommend that film if you haven't seen it. I never watched Donkey Punch.
Don't Google it.
Some light-hearted humour for the folks at home there. That's just some family value humour right there.
Exactly. So, you know, so like I said, Phoenix against, he's playing Phoenix, I'm playing Crab Scorpion, and let's get this show going.
Let's get it rolling. Get it rolling out the station.
What I've learned in this meta, in particular, is that small characters are much better on the first couple turns. So you can see I've kind of molded my mulligans so that I had a good number of small-ish characters available to me. And once again, I'm just aggressively passing. I know that that's kind of become my style, especially in the crab community. They kind of make fun of me for that. And I was kind of relying on top decking a Fate Worse Than Death here, and it didn't happen. But I still have 3 Haruma Skirmishers, I have my Shrewd Yasuki, and if I can win a Earth Ring, which I'm pretty confident I can with all these Skirmishers, I'll get 2 Keeper Monks onto the board. So I'm looking to swarm early here, and often, and get this Earth Ring going, so that we can break some provinces and get some Keepers out.
Get some keeper time.
Keep it time, motherfucker. So, he starts his first conflict. Where is he going? And you are at 152, right?
I'm at 1. Yeah, well, more now, but yeah.
Yeah.
So, if I were you, probably gonna. If I were him, I'd probably be doing political here.
Okay, so he does a political void.
Yeah.
At defend the wall. So I defend for 2.
Brilliant. This is a perfect storm here.
And then I get a Meek Informant. So I have 4 conflict characters in my hand right now, and I'm winning this at the moment. He plays a fan.
Definitely assassin.
And then and I assassinate the shit out of it.
Oh, such a brutal. So the Fate on his Asuki, and you get 2 keepers, and you spend 1 card to do that.
He plays a character into the conflict, but I'm still winning, so he must have something else, right?
Power Embrace the Void, that netted him as well.
Yeah. So I'll pass. He puts, what did he put on there? Another fan? Is that what he did? Hold on, I think this is going a little too fast. Why don't we go down to 1.25?
Yeah, sure. Let's get down to 1.25. Let me just
Yeah. So he played an Ornate Fan to go back up to 3-2, and now I'm going to play a Meek Informant into the conflict. Once I hit play, there you go. And then I look at his hand. So he's got a Bonsai, 2 Mirror Mode of Furies, a Let Go, Against the Waves, Embrace the Void, Censure, Display of Power, and another Embrace the Void.
So you win this conflict now with Box, right?
Yeah, so Box wins this conflict now. And then he just puts Embrace the Void on his character that's about to get Void Ringed. So I get Defend the Wall, I resolve the ring, and I'm basically clearing his board now.
And you've still got your own conflicts left to go.
Yeah.
So cheeky little I suppose you want the Earth Ring already, don't you?
I do want the Earth Ring, yes. So I'm going to play a Skirmisher onto the board. Now which one do I pick is the real question.
Which Skirmisher? I like the look of that chap on the end. He's got a fierce determination in his eyes. Seems to be quite taken with that first Skirmisher. Left to right there. That's fine. I suppose I'll do.
Yeah, the first Skirmisher. I drew her first. She can enter the conflict first. So he has stealth. So I can just covert right by his guy. And I saw his hand. I don't remember it right now, but I know he has 2 Furies.
Yes, he does.
So he could potentially make me play all 3 of my skirmishers, but he won't actually be able to stop me from winning if I play all 3 of my skirmishers. Shameful display.
That's a big investment. That's a big investment.
So he just passes. So, you know, I just play Bonsai to basically force him to play something.
Yeah, that's interesting. I probably would have passed there as well.
Yeah,
right?
and maybe I should have, you know, it probably would have been a good idea to do that. Because now,
I don't know if I necessarily want to play out all 3 skirmishers on turn 1, you know?
yeah. So now I do pass. Maybe I should have just taken the ring and just gone with it. And I draw another Meek Informant. So I've seen, on the first turn, I've seen all my conflict characters. This is what Jigoku does. Jigoku's so weird in this way.
Jigoku is a weird shuffling mechanic, man. I don't know how it works.
I don't either.
You do tend to get cards, don't you? It never happens in real life.
No, it doesn't.
You never just being like, oh, I've just drawn 3 reprieves.
I know. It doesn't seem to work out like that in real life. But yeah, so I got all 3 of my skirmishers, both my Meek Informants on turn 1, and you know, now he's declaring presumably a water conflict. I mean, there's no reason that he wouldn't do that. So he does a water for 1.
Yeah, Meek Informant is such value here, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, because you just get to see his entire hand. You know, it's just wonderful. So I just defend with 2. I don't want him to stand his character without having to play something else. And like the thing about playing Meek Informant, I'm really not fantastic about remembering what's in their hand. Maybe because it's just out of just sheer reliance on Jigoku, I know I can always just check. Although that's, I mean, technically not great, but in the context of the game, everyone does it, so it's not. It's whatever, right? So, so he's doing a military here, and I decide to defend, and I just pass because this gives me the favor. I get 3 rings, and he also, you know, doesn't really get any value out of this turn. So he lets me win. So I have 3 rings to his none. But he stands his character, which gives him 2 strength towards the favor. Right? And
how's he standing his character?
I'm sorry?
How's he standing his character?
Are you at 915 right now?
Oh yes, I am now.
Okay, did you change to 1.25?
No, I don't know what happened there. Sorry, carry on. It's flicked for a sec. Yeah, I'm at 1.25.
Okay, you're at 1.25. Okay. So yeah, he stood his whatever her name is, Suki.
Mm.
So now he doesn't have any conflicts left, and I presumably don't have any conflicts left, right? So I have 3 rings. If he uses his box on Suki, then that means that he wins the favor. And he played an Against the Waves on her, so I can only assume that that's what he's planning on doing.
Right, yeah. That's how he stood her. Okay, fantastic.
Yeah, he played Against the Waves. So he spent a fate to basically win the favor.
Interesting that you didn't just... no, I suppose you wouldn't have won then. Yeah, I mean... another option, instead of using both keepers there, would have been... I can't see how much fate you've got currently, but if you had...
I have 3 fate.
Enough to... No, I suppose you don't want to use your skirmisher like that.
Yeah, I would have preferred to use my... I kind of want to keep my skirmisher for later rounds, right?
I'm wildly hypothesizing unnecessarily there.
So yeah, he did that, and I'm trying to figure out like what his game is. So now I play a Meek Informant, and I get to see his hand. He does have a Censure. He still has a Mirmo's Fury, but he has no Fate. So I know that I can just attack here and basically make it so that he cannot win the favor. I suppose I could have waited. Well, no, I couldn't have. So I decide to honor my Shiryu. You know, so I won 4 rings here, I could have dishonored his guy, and then he wouldn't gain honor when that character leaves. But the entire reason I did that is because what he was going to do, and he actually kind of showed his ass a little early. Because what he could have done is he could have waited until I passed my conflict and then against the waves her, and then he would have gotten the favor, you know, unopposed, right? He would have just gotten it. But because he did it when I still had a conflict left, he gave me a chance to react to it. And I just happened to have another conflict character. He probably thought, like, there's no fucking way he has another conflict character.
Played at this point 4 of your 6.
Yeah. So, you know, that's probably what he was thinking, and that's why he did it. But I happen to have one, and I was able to win another conflict and honor my guy. And get a ring so that now it's 4-4 once he uses his box to tie for the favor so that no one gets it. But again, like, that box is so useful. Phoenix's Stronghold is so
Which
good.
one? It's good now. It was pretty crap at the start, but now that they've got all these other stupid cards that go with it, yeah, it's a lot better, you know?
Yeah. Like, just being able to kind of on-demand win favor is just fantastic.
Yeah, it's really good. Now that I guess now that favor's a much bigger deal than it was early on in the cycle. It's a truly fantastic stronghold.
Yeah. So his entire board leaves. I get my 2 keepers and my Shrewd Yasuki, and I know that he's keeping that that library. So my Shrewd Yasuki is activated as long as that library is around.
Yeah.
So I can just keep my Vanguard Warrior without having to worry. And you know, I do draw 2 provinces, but one of them is Imperial Palace. So that's most likely another round where he does not get you know, the favor.
You go for the Vanguard Warrior, and then I think a little fated up Peter Guardian here is probably a good shout, you know?
Yeah, I think so.
Set up a little cheeky Way of the Crab, just in case.
He plays Adept of the Waves, so I played the Vanguard Warrior because I would rather sacrifice the Vanguard Warrior than the Heated Guardian right now, because the Heated Guardian represents 5 strength. So if he did buy like the Master Gisatoshi, if he just forgot, I could have Way of the Crab with the Vanguard Warrior, which probably would have been worth it in my opinion, especially since I'm holding 2 reprieves.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
I...
If you're trading a 2 for a 4, it's a pretty good exchange there, isn't it?
Yeah. And I ratchet down my bid to 3 because I want to start honor pressuring him, and he still goes at 5. So I drew a Fate, a Court Games, and a Mountain Does Not Fall. All very, very good cards. That's the nice thing about, like, the nice thing about Scorpion Splash, in what I've noticed, is that it does seem to just... It runs nothing but good cards.
You'd really hope that any conflict deck does that.
You would think so. You would hope so, right?
There are some cards that are more relevant for certain situations than others, you know.
Yeah, but like Fate Worse Than Death is just so damn good.
And it is, especially when they can't cancel it with Essentials.
Yeah.
You can just cane that Yojimbo square in the face. Look, there's Meditations. That's a perfect flip.
Alright. I'm getting pretty lucky here so far. So I flip Meditations with 2 guys have enough weight on them. I did not attack with the Heated Guardian yet. And he defends with the Adept of Waves, which is okay with me. I would have preferred he defend with the Yojimbo so that I could just send him home with Fate Worse Than Death. So he defends. Now, I could like try a little sneaky Way of the Crab to make him discard this character, but oh, and I get my second Fate Worse Than Death. Card is so fucking good, dude. It's just like uncool how good that card is.
It's currently good. Very good. I guarantee you, man. I wouldn't be surprised if, like, you know, later on, maybe even as early as summertime this year, yeah, it's fallen out of favor.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
Not be surprised.
So I'm dishonoring his character now. So I'm breaking, making him...
You saw you put your I Can Swim to the bottom of the deck with that first Yasuki there.
Oh, did I?
So you can shuffle, I guess.
Yeah, well, I mean, I Can Swim is not useful in every game, and I I don't mind sending it to the bottom of the deck. It's just a 1x, right?
Yeah, sure, sure. It's just a fun one-off.
Yeah. Sometimes it'll just completely screw your opponent over. There's nothing they can do about it. So he has a decision to make. You know, can he commit more to save this break, or is he just going to let it go?
Interesting that you've gone for the honor pressure so early here. Why air and not void?
So I did air because first of all I had a fate on it, so I wanted to deny him fate. But also I had a fate worse than death, which is a dishonor tool, and I had a court games, so I was thinking like I can basically dishonor his entire board, and then it'll all leave at the end of the round, and then he'll lose more honor that way. And then I drew the next fate worse than death, and it was just like, well, damn, like now it's just getting brutal, right? So
now it's just getting sexy.
So you know he has 10 cards in his hand, but okay, so he plays a Supernatural Storm, which is a +1. That must have hurt to do that.
You can, I guess, favorable ground if you really want to.
If I really want to. Is it even necessary at this point is the question.
Probably not, man. Not for an airing. Not if your intention is just to break. But it looks like you're...
I'm scrolling over it right now.
You're like rubbing it with your cursor.
So I decide, let's make him spend more cards. Because I have rebuild, so I can always rebuild the favorable ground if I want to.
Which is basically like paying 0 for a +2/2 at this point, I guess. With that,
and I can also move stuff around if I need to. So it's just kind of a rebuild with favorable ground is just very, very powerful. So by doing this, I'm basically honor pressuring him and simultaneously conquest pressuring him. So it's like I'm beginning to shove him into a corner, and that's when he finally decides to use the second Mirmo's Fury, which is what you want. You want them to use it, and then you're still winning, right? So I pass, I get the ring, I take an honor from him to go to 7 honor for him. So it's turn 2, and he has 7 honor and a dishonor guy. And Fate Worse Than Death is going to dishonor this Yojimbo as well.
Lovely. That's what you like to hear. If you're a crowd player with Fate Worse Than Death in your hand.
And I just have 7 Fate. I mean, it's just... game is going pretty good right now.
Yeah, you seem like you're in a strong position. No need to trip here, dog.
I'm not tripping, bro.
Bro. And he's in an interesting position anyway, because he's got to be thinking, oh, if I attack, I'm just leaving an open board for Joe anyway.
Yeah.
One place.
Well, here's the frustrating thing about Fate Worse Than Death, right, is that he knows if he ever is in a conflict with that guy, he's going away. So what do you do in that scenario? You know what I mean? Like there's no good answer. He either doesn't declare any conflicts, and then he just wasted his board, or he does declare conflict and then it gets Fate Worse Than Death, and then it's unopposed, and then I get an unopposed, and his character goes away because he only has 1 Fate. It's just like the card creates lose-lose scenarios, like almost exclusively.
This is a pretty weak line of play, but he could basically just wait this round out, and you'd keep 2 characters, he'd keep 1, and then you would have a load of Fate as well, but
yeah,
at least you can like attempt to build a board next turn. I don't know. Like, to be honest, you probably just have to play into it. At least making you spend the Fate that way,
Yeah. So he's looks like he's going to attack with this character. So he's doing a Void Ring into Meditations on the Tau. So this guy's leaving the play regardless, no matter what happens.
You probably don't even need to bother with the Fate Worse Than Death at this point.
I might not have to. So I have this this skirmisher in my hand. So let's see what I choose to do here. I think I could just box here. I Mirmo's Fury first. So he passes.
Oh, you did use the Guardian.
Yeah, I used the Guardian, and then he passes. And then
you could have like not used the Guardian and use the box instead, and then you could have rebuilt the Faithful Grounds to move the bow of the Guardian into the conflict with the Haruma Skirmisher, and probably got an unopposed break on Shameful.
Yeah, I probably could have done that, honestly.
He's got Fury there, hasn't he? Sorry, no, ignore all that. You've seen Mirumoto's Fury.
Yeah. So what I end up doing here is I rebuild that thing, whatever you want to call it, the favorable ground. Because to be honest, I don't really care if he wins this conflict. I'm just trying to make him spend cards because he has 8 cards in his hand. I want him to spend more. So I think I favorable ground the Guardian home because now I'm winning 3-2.
Right. Okay.
Because of the Guardian's trigger.
Okay. That's a little cute play there.
And then he passes, and I win a political conflict with just the Vanguard Warrior.
Seriously woke Vanguard Warrior. Real political savvy to him.
So to this point, he has not yet won a conflict in this game. And now I'm just going to do a little chump challenge. What?
It's just quite a funny observation. He's not yet won a ring. God, this is miserable, isn't it?
So
how come you didn't go to Shameful there? Just out of interest.
I probably could have, but I just didn't want him to play a conflict character into the game and then dishonor and everything like that. I figured I'd just give him something else, just to make so that I don't have to worry about the possibility of him defending and winning. Yeah. So here I get the fire ring, and he gained a fate from it, and I think that he just passes here. I don't think that he has much to go on. Yeah, he passes and I win, and I just dishonor his character. So I basically got the effect of a Fate Worse Than Death without having to spend the Fate Worse Than Death.
Right? Long round for it. There you go. So now you go into the next round with 7 Fate and 2 of the blasted things.
Yeah. And I get to keep my my Shruyasuki.
Once you do. Let's not forget that. Oh, he does have a conflict character, so you were right not to attack into Shameful there. This is where you Fate Worse Than Death as Shrine Maiden, right?
that would be a way to do it, wouldn't it?
Oh, double discard on For Shame there.
Yeah, he double discarded For Shame. And that's the Shrine Maiden's an interesting card because she does kind of screw you over like that occasionally.
I think she's a superb character. I just think you've just got to go in on that spell deck, you know. And that's what, well, I mean, once this pack drops, you know, that deck's going to exist. It's going to be awesome as well. I bet that deck's going to be super duper fun.
Yeah, I could see
just
that.
Fucking dropping in Shrine Maidens, picking up all your spells, just annoying the shit out of people.
I draw. Oh, look, they're all spells. How fun.
Yeah, I wonder if the mantras become playable in that deck. Probably not, but
I don't know. Maybe you could try it.
I could try.
So now he has to decide what he's going to do here. I have 3 rings, so he can't just box that card to gain the favor. So he basically has to declare a conflict with it. And he reveals, what is this? Manicure Garden. So I just get a free fate for my trouble.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Now I run Manicure Garden because this is an expensive deck. I could probably do Fertile Fields. Card draw is never a bad thing, but in this scenario, I think I do just prefer the fate just to ensure that I can get what I need out of it. So he's going for the break. Luckily, I have this Haruma Skirmisher.
Yes, you do. A defensive skirmisher play, eh?
Or I can just Fate Worse Than Death, the little fucker.
Oh my god, you actually did do that.
That's brutal. So now 3 cards are three honors coming off his board here. So he's going to drop to 2 honor at the end of this round.
That feels wasteful, but it was funny, so I'll permit it.
Hey, it saves a province and it adds a dishonor. Seems pretty good, right?
Right, sure, yeah, right.
So this is not going great at this point for him. But he does get 2 fate off of his 2 whatever they're called. Embrace the Voids, so he's going to go up to three fate here, which is nice. But I have 4 fate just sitting here, ready to go.
He goes down to 2 honor. Oh,
yeah, he's at 2 honor. 2 honor, and I still have a fate worse than death.
It's basically impossible for you to lose this game now, I feel.
Yeah.
You've got favor control, you've got board advantage, you've got fate advantage, and you've got fate worse than death in your hand.
Yeah, and he has let goes that are basically serving no purpose right now because I have no attachments.
Both of your guys wearing Embrace the Voids.
Yeah. So you play the Meta and the Mediator. And I just play a Kaio Envoy. Sure, why not? And this was something that he was doing throughout the game, is he was putting only 1 fate on his characters, which is not normal for him. I know him. He's from Ohio, so I play him pretty regularly at tournaments and things like that. And he clouds the Witch Hunter, which is fine. But he's normally very good about adding 2 fate to his characters so they last. But I guess now he just doesn't feel it's required, because fate worse than death is basically a free void ring for 4 fate each round. So anyway,
so he's doing that as an anti-fate measure.
Maybe, I'm not sure. It's hard to say.
It seems weird, man. Like, how would that help? You're losing your 4 guy even quicker, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think that people are trying to experiment with how do they deal with fate worse than death, and it's just been tricky for them.
Yeah, I found that like putting 3 fate on characters instead of 2, obviously being able to reliably policy debate with those stewards of law helps massively.
Yeah. But
sometimes you've just got to eat it, man. You've just got to walk right into that big old fucking thing and just eat it, you know?
Yeah. So he's doing a political air ring here, and I just defend to stop the win, just to win. He still has his library, so I can still shoot Yasuki. So I'm just trying to figure out what combination of characters should I use. And I think he did the master on the air ring, so I can't use... I can't fate him here.
Oh wow, he's doing protective. Well, that's quite clever, actually.
Yeah,
like
the Master Gishe Toshi is interesting in that regard, that it can kind of block. I think that's why people are running it. Like, you see it a lot more in Phoenix decks right now, and I think it's exclusively for a fate worse than death, just ensuring that you can't get fated during that conflict.
Yeah, it's a super safe conflict for them.
But then he can't play events other than spells either, so he just has to pass here.
Yeah, he does.
So at this point, I mean, like, I've been clearing his board this entire game, and you know, he can't really afford to protect against it because he needs to get this air. He needed to get that air ring if he could. And the sad thing is, you know,
this is the end of the game. Surely, there's nothing going on here now. What?
I realize now that I did not play my skirmisher. I meant to, but I did not.
I mean, you could just basically win the game here by an unopposed firing. Does it for you, right?
Yeah. If I could have brought in my skirmisher for stealth, then I could have just won on a firing there. But I forgot to do it. I forgot to play it during the action window. So what do I end up doing here? That's interesting. Why am I going military? I have a skirmisher. I should wait. I have 2 conflicts. Dude, wait. Stop it. Make it political.
Maybe he's doing political, which is interesting. But I hope he's not running policy debate. Not that it really matters, but you know.
Well, he does have the mediator, so I kind of only can do 1 conflict this round.
You get to choose what to give them.
he gets to choose.
Okay, yeah.
It's like a levy if levy were good, you know?
Right, yeah, I get you. That would be great.
So I just do a fire ring military. I feel stupid because I should have played the skirmisher, but I didn't.
And if Levy let you choose, it would be absolutely great, that card.
Well, yeah, if it lets you choose, it'd be a really good card. I would run that card. But for some reason, they decided that it's not what you should do.
I mean, it's just like, cool, 0 cost event, I will take a fate off you. I suppose it's like a bit choky. It'd be really powerful if it was 0 cost and let you choose either one.
Yeah.
Like, it should probably be one or the other, though.
I don't know. I think it would have been fine. Like, it's printed on that character. Add a contingency. Like, say, like, you know, make it a little more conditional.
Well, that character still does lead the, you know, right, so he displays a power to save his ass here. Yeah. You didn't have to do the firing, so you knew what you were doing.
So display a power here, he gets to honor one of his characters. And he chooses a Master Gi Satoshi.
Man, that's greedy, that is, mate.
And then he stands the Master Gi Satoshi.
Maybe not. He's got a plan.
That card is so good.
Yeah, against the waves is absolutely exceptional card.
Like, imagine if there was a 1-cost card that just target a Bushi, stand that motherfucker. That'd be fantastic.
Versus Crab and Dragon when they've got their ridiculous wizard story they got. Tagashi Yukuni.
But here's the interesting thing is that I still have this Fate Worse Than Death, so anything that he attacks with that character, I still can just send that shit home.
You need to, like, hit the... If you hit the other one with Fate Worse Than Death, the Mediator, that's good game now, right? He doesn't have censure. He's not putting her in a conflict, though.
Yeah, he's not willing to put her in a conflict. He's not... He is completely unwilling.
Has he seen your hand, or is he just playing well?
So I don't defend. And then I just weigh the crap.
So brutal.
Weigh the Crab is such a fucking amazing card, man.
That is so brutal. I mean, like, that takes the game from... I mean, you run it anyway. In that situation, that's just a very cruel win more card. But you put it to bed this turn rather than next turn. That's what that card enabled you.
Well, the problem is, like... What? And he's thinking, you know, he has... It's a no-win scenario at this point.
Yeah, he can't win now, because you Fate Worse Than Death. Yeah, so he... There's a no-win. Oh, no, he gets the honor back, so... He doesn't go this turn.
Yeah. So he chose to weigh the Crab his master of Gi Satoshi rather than weigh the Crab his mediator and then let me get an unopposed conflict back. And I was talking to him in chat, and he was just like, yeah, because if you have a Fate Worse Than Death, I just straight lose there. And I was like, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true.
It's clever. It's clever. Well played.
Clever girl.
Even though he's really on the back foot here. Got himself in a bit of an honor hole here.
Yeah. And this game, unlike the other game against Cure Mode, I'm in no honor pressure at all.
No. That's always horrible when one player's, you know, got that control over the game. Creates a pretty lopsided situation.
Yeah. Yeah, so I just go ahead and pass the conflict. It's not worth giving him an honor to declare a conflict that I can't even win.
Yeah.
And then I think what he does, he just boxes this character so that he can get the free favor. Woo!
There you go.
It's the third round he did it, and it finally worked.
You could just rebuild the palace now, and indeed that is what you do.
I forgot I did that. I'm such an ass. God.
I would have totally done that. I absolutely would have done that. Like, well, cool.
So I play a reprieve, and he lets it go. Then I play a reprieve.
He lets it go.
He didn't.
That one sticks.
That one stuck.
I hate trading reprieves for let goes. It sucks. You're like, this is so expensive.
Yeah.
But it's okay. That little buddy gets you something back.
Yeah, so I top deck, and then it's a Calling in Favorites, which again does nothing in this game right now, like at all.
It's for the mirror match, that card, isn't it?
It basically is for the mirror match, isn't it?
Probably the only faction at the minute that are really playing attachment heavy, other than Dragon. So yeah, I guess no. Actually, to be fair, versus Dragon, that's a good card, isn't it?
It is. It is very good against Dragon.
Just waiting until they use a reprieve and getting that blowout play. That's what you're sort of after, isn't it?
Yeah, and then he flips 2 mediators, so he saw all 3 of his mediators, which is really good for him. Because those things basically make it so I can only declare 2 conflicts around, or 1 conflict around. But I still pass to get up to 4 fate, and I draw a Watch Commander with my 1 top deck.
Wow. I'll do it.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Deary me.
I mean, you can sort of leisurely break all of his provinces now, though, right? He's got no military to compete with your board.
Essentially, yeah. I can just kind of do it at my own pace at this point.
Fucking Fate Worse Than Death is still looming, you know, hovering around there.
And I do end up doing air, mainly just because I don't want him to get air. So this is less for the actual ring and just for denying him the ring.
Yeah, that's fair. I found it always a good strategy to do. You should probably have. I like putting the Watch Commander on beforehand when I'm attacking, but when I'm defending, I'll generally play as the first action.
Yeah,
right?
And maybe I could have done that. That might have been the right call. Okay, well maybe I want to do Earth instead.
Got an action.
This might be a tad bit greedy. I think I'm doing Earth here.
For
You there? Disconnected, huh? Hey.
What happened there?
I don't know. I don't know what happened there. Hey.
Can you text me if you leave?
Yeah.
And let me know if I
Yeah. Alright, baby.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello. Hold on. See me and hear me?
Yep, I can. So
Weird.
this is being cut out.
Yeah.
All right. So
Drop it right in there.
there we go.
Okay. 44:22, right?
I'm sorry.
44:22 is the where we're at, right?
Okay, 44:22. Yeah.
You have?
Yeah, that's what I got.
Okay, cool. So 3, 2, 1 is in, mate.
Yeah. Are you? When I hit play, does it play? No,
No.
it doesn't. Hold on. What the hell's going on with this thing?
No idea. Will it work if you refresh? Is it playing for you now?
Let's just refresh this. Okay. Hmm.
Any joy?
Interesting.
What's up?
Is it not? Is it? It's not playing for me. It won't actually hit. Damn it. Okay. Let's just add the video back. Oh, you're the owner of the room. That's why.
Okay, so if I press play,
Yeah, if you press play, it should work.
is it playing for you now?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll just go back to 4:24.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's
Okay,
let's 3, 2, 1 this thing.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
And we're back. Difficulties with technical difficulties, I should say. All right, so I've been flipping around what I need to do here, and it looks like I'm just going to go with a military earth, I guess. Yeah, I guess that's what I do. I do military earth.
Seems good, man.
Let's get that 2 fate, you know? Get those keeper monks, if I have any. I think I have 1 or 2. I think I have 2 keeper monks, so.
Yeah. You sent in the lone guy, the old classic Bow the Witch Hunter trick.
Battle of Witch Hunter. So it's public forum. So I think I just play in this this Harima skirmisher into the conflict. Ha ha ha! Look at me, I'm so smart.
Promptly gets. Alright, there you are. Bang. Fury. See, if you put the old watch commander onto the Witch Hunter, none of this would have happened.
Hold on, can you pause it real quick? Okay.
What's up?
My thing reset to normal speed instead of 1.25, so I reset to 1.25, so we're good now. So you can hit play. So yeah, he furied my Harima skirmisher. At that point, it's like, well, shit, what am I supposed to do now? But then I realized I have this thing called Calling in Favors in my hand, and it does stuff.
Calling in favors?
Calling in Favors.
Oh, I
Let's see.
Great.
I'm hovering over the pass button, but I think I do end up. Yeah, Calling in Favors the Cloud the Mind over to my Harima skirmisher.
Well, that is brilliant. That is Put the watch commander on the goddamn Witch Hunter.
It's too late now. I should have done it. I should have done it before, but I didn't. So, yeah, I win unopposed. I get my keeper initiates, and at this point, it's basically like the game's over. Like there's nothing even to do at this point. So he just passes conflict.
Daring and win.
Yeah.
Another watch commander off that opening. Just to keep it. Yeah, that's game, man. That is game. That's a completely unwinnable situation for him.
Yeah, there's basically nothing he can do. Especially since he still does not have the favor.
Dear me.
Yeah, this game, the reason we did this one second is because the first game was definitely more of a nail-biter.
Yeah, this has just been a good old kicking, hasn't it?
A good old romp.
Good old kicking. I wouldn't even call it a romp. It's just been a savage kicking. Like those sort of like behind the curtain sort of style documentaries, except this one's set in a chicken slaughterhouse. Just where you sort of see uncensored the full brutality of what's going on. You know?
Is that what's happening right now?
Yeah. Oh shit! But if you attack, then you give him an honor, right?
I give him 2 honor if I
Yeah,
attack.
right. So yeah, no, it's not over yet then. Maybe you just don't care at this point.
So I initiate an air ring, a political air ring.
Still no watch commander.
So he defends with 1 of them. Just 1. And then he uses the middling mediator to take 1 honor from me. And at this point I ask him, did you use the one in the conflict or the one at home? And he said he used the one at home.
Oh, no.
So that's when I fate worse than death his guy home.
He loses the game there.
Yeah. To win the unopposed and the air ring and a break to end the game.
I don't understand why he didn't defend with both.
I guess because he wanted to, I don't know, attack back or something. I'm not sure.
To be honest, yeah. Even if he defends with both. No, so he defends with 1, that's correct. No, yeah, he just can't win the game, basically. There's no out for him here.
Yeah, and I asked him, like, why did he use the one at home first? And he was like, because of assassinate. He didn't want to he didn't want me to assassinate the one at home before he could use it. He was like, so basically, like, fate worse than death or assassinate, both would win me the game. I just happened to have fate. And he played as if I had assassination when I actually had fate.
Right. I'd probably play as if you had fate as well. If you have fate. It sucks, but at this point, there's nothing you can do about that.
Yeah, and I think at this point we were just talking. I think he like essentially conceded that I had won, and now we're just talking. So you can pause it there.
That's that.
That's that. I guess we ended up talking for like 15 minutes. So yeah, the Scorpion Splash. It's a violent vehicle, to put it lightly.
It's not a subtle splash, isn't it? It's just a smash them kind of splash.
Yeah, and you know, like I said, one unassuming Ajimbo in place of a 1 calling in favors would be a change that I make just for additional conflict covert. Now, you know, you and I were talking, and Crane Splash may end up being the choice for the meta right now because it does hold up very well against the Scorpion Splash. But what have your experiences been against like Dragon and Phoenix? How does the deck go against those 2?
It doesn't have like a worse or better. It's not like Unicorn where I feel like Crab. This is kind of like a sort of thing with all Crab decks. Is they don't really have bad matchups apart from Scorpion. You know what I mean? Like Scorpion, and that's only Crab Unicorn. Like I feel it's still a hard matchup with Crab Crane. Don't get me wrong. It's not like you change your deck around a bit and it's suddenly super easy. It's not. It's still fucking hard. It's Scorpion, but you've got a lot more tools to deal with them.
Yeah.
So I feel like the only faction it may have a slightly worse matchup against than the Unicorn iteration is Lion, because your Bow tech gets countered by Ready for Battle, where Unicorn just doesn't really give a shit about that card. That's like Unicorn Splash. Shit. But like against Phoenix, I'd say it's slightly easier because you can just storm with it. You know what I mean? Like you can get 9 cards and covert characters and Bow tech. It's a recipe for like just smashing through things, and Phoenix take a little while to get set up. So
yeah,
and if it's Phoenix Dragon as well, those let goes aren't really doing anything.
Yeah, they're like going like duelist trainings maybe against Crane Splash.
Then normally they save it on katanas. If they're really savvy, they'll wait for the reprieves. But a lot of the time people like spend so they're doing something. Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like it has a bad matchup against Dragon. I feel like I'm not the strongest player against Dragon. My least played matchup.
Yeah.
But after that really awful game, which you watched the end of, I had another 2 games against Dragon. I lost the second one again, and that was mainly down to his deck just drawing absolute fire. I was playing a bit better in that game. And I played another match against Dragon, and I won that one. And at that point, I was thinking, right, okay. I spent a lot of time watching that Kai video as well, so hopefully I can improve a bit of that matchup.
Yeah.
But I actually feel like it probably has an easier time versus Dragon than Unicorn. The only difficult part of that matchup theoretically is just finding Feast of Famine.
Yeah, I can see that.
As soon as you know what Feast of Famine is, it's not a hard matchup. It's because dragons generally tend to go tall, so your Bow tech helps a lot there. Stuff like for Shame is great. Steward of Law for Shame is great against them because they can't really stand back up again.
Yeah.
Admit defeat, great when you covert a guy. The duelist training is less good in that matchup.
So I put your deck list up, or my deck list, which the only difference is I added 1 skirmisher to go up to 41. So
yeah, I mean that's fine basically. If you want to play at 41 cards, I mean you'll probably find though that you cut it, you won't miss it. I don't know. Have a little mess around. It's a really solid feeling deck, so try and get some gains in with it.
Yeah.
But I think your deck with the Scorpion Splash is going to be worth taking a serious look at when the Phoenix pack drops and we get that new character. I think it gets a lot better.
Yeah, Hida Amaru. If he does what is rumored to do, well, based on what the card game DB.
What do the whispers say, Jim?
What?
What do the whispers say?
Hold on, let me pull it up. What the whispers are saying.
Yeah, say what? Give us the word on the street, bro.
Okay. So, according to some leak on Card Game DB, and you know how reliable those are.
Oh yeah.
Where is this? Where is it? Come on. Some spoilers from Clan Pack. I think that's the one. So it says here, also, Hida Amaru, excuse me, which was a berserker in old L5R. Rumors say his ability is reaction. When a player passes an opportunity to declare a conflict, he must sacrifice a character he controls, unlimited.
Does it say reaction or forced reaction?
So this spoiler says reaction, but I have a hard time believing they would print that and not make it a forced reaction.
Yeah, because if you can choose just not to do it, it doesn't work, right?
Well, yeah, you're supposedly, it's supposed to be a double-edged sword. Like if you don't declare a conflict.
Does it say when a player?
Yeah, it says when a player passes an opportunity.
Okay, so there's no way that's going to be a reaction, because why would you ever optionally choose to just sacrifice a character? That's definitely going to be a forced reaction.
Yeah, so it's most likely going to be a forced reaction. So that's interesting. But as you can see in basically both of my games, I was able to control the board pretty well with I Can Swims and Assassinations and Way of the Crab and Fate Worse Than Death, such that I was really getting very uneven boards over the course of the game, especially in this game that we just watched. So you know, it'll be interesting to see what happens with this deck. I think that you're right, that I think Hidemaru really makes this deck dangerous to play against.
That's it. Because then it becomes like you're kind of dual pressuring, but in a much more aggressive way, you know,
Yeah.
rather than like Unicorn, which is sort of sitting there scuttling around, waiting for your opponent to do stuff, and then making life a living hell for them.
Yeah. So
You know,
the Unicorn Splash was a truly just an outlast deck. You know, you just want to draw a bunch of cards, bid low, and eventually their honor goes down to 0. But there was nothing that you could really buy with any fate that you accumulated. You know what I mean? Like if you sit there with like 5 or 6 fate at the end of a certain round, the next round, whatever you buy in the dynasty phase is basically what you're spending that fate on.
yeah.
And then you just go into the next round with 4 fate or so sitting in your pool again. So the Crane Splash has political rivals, and this deck has Fate Worse Than Death to kind of use that additional fate to fuck your opponent.
But it's good because the more stuff you're playing from your hands, you know, you do just get that. You're more often to get that extra dynasty phase passing fate, you know. So you do, like, you think if you manage to get that 2 or 3 turns in a game, then that's one like what, three fate for you, you know,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
So
So
pretty good.
anyway, I will link Dan's YouTube channel. He's playing the Crab Crane deck already. This and the other game that I'm going to post along with this is the Crab Scorpion deck. Those are the 2 decks that he and I and a couple other crabs are testing at this point to try and see if we can fix the meta, because the meta is not working for crab players right now.
It's not working, man.
The Unicorn Splash is just not strong enough to overcome the nonsense that's in the meta right now.
Yeah, it's just a hideous amount of calling in favors. There's a hideous amount of let go. There's a hideous amount of Miyamoto's Furies, and you top it all off with a Fate Worse Than Death and Catch a K.
Yeah.
You know, and there's some degree of those cards into most competitive decks at the minute, and it's just like, you know, it just sucks to play against. And like the Unicorn Splash as well, the games go long with that deck. You know, it's a real mentally draining deck to play.
Yeah. Well, because like I said, you are just kind of outlasting your opponent until they have no cards in hand, no honor left, no board, and then they just are in a hopeless position. These 2 decks are much more aggressive in the way that they play.
It's fun. It's fun beating people around. And Amori is going to kill in that Scorpion deck. It's going to be great.
It's going to be so good, man.
Just run 3 of each removal spell, right? So
Yeah.
3 away the crabs,
3 assassination, 3 away the crabs, maybe 3 Fate Worse Than Death, or maybe an I Can Swim or 2 in there.
I
Just
just put 3 fates and 2 Yojimbo, fucking 10. Or maybe 2 fates, 2 Yojimbo, and then 2 whatever, well, the rest whatever you wanted, you know. But,
yeah. And then, you know, Hidemaru just makes the Water Ring king, right?
good.
Oh man,
Good.
I'm looking forward to it. So anyway, everyone, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll be posting this along with the deck list and a link to Dan's YouTube channel, along with the second game that I played with this deck. So I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.
Peace out.